ready to bubble?
In the lamplight, the withered leaves collect at my feet, and the wind begins to moan. Memory, all alone in the midnight, I can smile at the old days. I was beautiful then. Hello, ratties and ratettes. My name is Ratty Snatcher, and today I'm joined by
Rodent Bubbles, who doesn't fancy a nice lean bit of cheese.
And we are going to be giving our review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 2, Episode 2. Last week we saw Joe Black go home, unfortunately, and the girls are back in the workroom. Bimini won the lip sync, and they're left with a message from lovely, lovely Joe Black saying,
Auf Wiedersehen, you camp old bitches. Love you, see you soon, Joe Black.
What do you think about Joe's elimination, Bailey Bubbles?
I've got 2 words for you. Rigor Morris.
Rigor Morris, girl. It was Rigor Morris.
Rigor Morris, like, you know, those stiff little rats on the street that have been run over.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I didn't agree with any of it, my dears. Joe Black is a national icon and should be preserved at all times. And I bloody love that Bowie dress. And that's all I'm saying. Now, before we carry on, I just want to say all drag is valid. Drag is art. Drag is whatever you want it to be, okay? We all have opinions. We all have arseholes. It's the same bloody thing. What I'm saying is this is a laugh, okay? Just laugh with us and we're just having fun. And hopefully you enjoy this too.
So the girls are back in the workroom after the elimination, and Ahura brings up the ASOS jacket. Do you think Estina would have won without that ASOS jacket?
Now, I think it's difficult because I think that look needed that ASOS jacket. Like, it was to create, like, an iconic runway. And that's what, like, I see on the mean streets of London, you know? So I think for that, it really worked. But as a piece of drag clothes, is it draggy? No, like, I can see every Tom, Dick and Harry down the street wearing that. But what the hell can I say? I wear Primark's own, so...
So, the girls receive their room mail. RuPaul's Rat Race. Wonder what that could be about. I think the room mail is always leaving you clues, and we've watched the episode so we know what happens, but at the time I was thinking, oh, it's going to be a musical, it's going to be something, because we already knew the guest judge, big West End star, had to be a musical, right? Couldn't be anything else, could it?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think at that point I was either on the toilet or having a wank. I think I might have missed that.
Speaking of wanking, the mini challenge for the girls is to go down on the poles.
Oh, I do love a good pole. Any size. Oh, I ain't choosy.
You and me both, hun. So the Brit crew come out and they have a little polling station. The queens are here voting for different categories. Who they think is Secretary of Shade, the Trade Minister, Leader of the House of Lording It Up, and finally, Baroness Basic.
Oh, I have to say, as soon as they said trade, I wasn't really paying attention to the rest of them. I can't remember them. I was just focusing on the cock and bull. Let me go. Now, I have to say, as soon as they said the word trade, that's all I was focusing on. So I have no idea what the rest of the categories were, and I can't even remember what she just said. All I'm focusing on is that lovely piece of trade.
Well, you've got your priorities straight.
My priorities are bent, love. My priorities are bloody bent.
So, Secretary of Shade, who would you have voted for?
Simple. I completely agree with the girls. Ahura, 100%.
See, I think Secretary of Shade should have been Lawrence, because Shade kind of tweaks a nerve, but it's also funny. And I think Ahura is just a bit too mean-spirited for me. So the next one, Trade Minister, and I have to say I agree with the girls. Tace, out of drag, is the most attractive.
Really? Like, don't get me wrong, I think Taste is incredibly attractive, but I have to say I'm really into Gollum. I've got a Gollum fantasy going on with Veronica Green, and I just think she's like that gamey, nerdy boy, and oh, she turns my batteries on.
I do love someone that's a bit of a nerd, you know. Nerdiness is sexy at the end of the day.
Literally intelligent, charismatic, that's not how you say it, charismatic, and just all round fucking dirty.
Next voting category is leader of the House of Lording It Up, the cockiest queen. And I actually would have voted Estina for that. She's very confident, she knows what she does well, and she loves to talk about the things she can do successfully.
See, I would have given both of those badges to Ahura. Like, nothing against her, but I think she is confident in her ability. She is incredibly good with her ability, but she just rubs my tree.
Last category, and I think actually the category that I would least likely to be in, is Baroness Basic.
You wish, my dear. You wish you weren't in that carrot crate. Carrot crate. I can't do this. I'm going to have to put my fan on. I think I have to agree with what the girl said and say tea or coffee. I love her, but when it comes to her fashion, I don't want tea or coffee. I just want a good old Horlicks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that. And I think the girls are basing it on looks alone. But for me, the bitches of Basic, it's a tie between Ahura, that kind of cookie cutter drag. There's nothing exciting about her yet, and I'm not saying she's not talented, but it doesn't excite me. It's a bit seen it, done it. And Estina, she's the self-admitted kind of street style sportswear girl. So I think her outfits are just as lackluster as Tia's. But for me, Tia is the more interesting personality.
Like, that's the time you go and have a shit, right? When she's on screen. Got it. So Rue announces the main challenge, and the main challenge is Rats, the musical. Whoa! It's a musical spectacular where all of the contestants will be singing live, based around the amazing and iconic, may I say, musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, Cats.
To avoid copyright infringement, they chose Rats, Rats, Rats. If I'd knew the theme, I would have dressed like a rat. Oh wait, I did. Love the musical episodes, I have to say. I'm a really big fan of a Rusical. And a testicle. And gag, gaggity, gag. Baroness Basic gets to choose the roles. I love that RuPaul does this. Losing is the new winning. Baroness Basic, Tia, get to assign everyone with what to do. So the girls are sat down deciding who should be who. Tia's dishing out the roles, and straight away Veronica is all like, I'm a singer, and they're like, go on then, and then she's like, hey. Speaking of Veronica, her and Cherry have a bit of a dialogue like, I want to be Evita, I want to be Evita. And Cherry kind of backs down and is like, well, I could do any of the roles. Do you think that was a smart move or not?
I think it's one of those, like, you're never going to know because you haven't seen her perform it. But I think if you're, like, determined you can act a role, then you don't care what these other bitches are saying. You kick them to the curb and you go, do you know what? That's the role for me and I want to do it. It's a bloody competition, babe. Be your best authentic self.
Definitely, she should have been more assertive and just said, this is the role that I want. I can do all of them. Don't want to do any of them. I want Evita. Which is what Veronica did, and Veronica is assigned Evita.
Am I a fan of musicals? Does the Pope shit in the woods?
So one of the funniest moments, the girls seem really like, okay, you see you can do it, do it. And Ellie Diamond straight away is like, I can do dips, I can toss myself about, I can dance. And they're like, okay, do a dip. And Ellie walks out, boom!
She hit the ground quicker than I could run to McDonald's. But you got to give it to her, she did it. Like, it was very... It was like a Miranda Hart boob clap. But at the end of the day, she did it, and props to her, really.
Later that night, BBC Weather reported an earthquake in a 4 postcode radius.
Shit, was that what it is? Oh gosh, that makes sense now. Oh, maybe she shouldn't have done it.
So the roles have been divided, Tia's made her decisions, and first up in rehearsal are the Rat Pack, consisting of Sister, Cherry Valentine, and Lawrence Jenny. And then we see Lawrence show this really emotional breakdown side, and she just starts crying. And I think actually that's so relatable, because within school, a lot of queer kids grow up with that feeling of, not being as fabulous as the other kids, or not being as successful or as good at sports, or the last picked. I know I was that kid, so I completely relate to Lawrence that way.
Oh, 100%. I was that kid. I was the fat kid that nobody thought was good and was only good at rugby because I was like bloody well and nobody could touch me. But I did relate to her, I did, but I have to agree that this is not me being a cold-hearted bitch, because I'm not, but when other people cry, I find it really uncomfortable. Like, really, really uncomfortable. And I think I would have reacted like some of the girls. I would have been like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I pat her on the back? What do you do in that situation?
The judges are never going to ask Lawrence Cheney to show her vulnerable side, like just been breaking down on week 2. So she's shown us that relatable, vulnerable side to her already.
Oh my gosh, literally. She's only 10 minutes up the bloody mountain and she's already rolling down the hill.
Next in the roles, back roles, we have Veronica as Lady Evita and Estina Mandela as Jade.
Oh, well, Veronica Green made me so happy as a musical theatre student, just to see her do her stuff and just kind of enact and just sing and just, she was enjoying herself. And that's what musical theatre is. If you're not enjoying yourself, then we're not going to enjoy watching you. And it was just bellissimo. Is that a word? I might have made that up.
That was the first time I'd really saw Veronica came out of a shell, and she kind of shone in that moment. When they were like, how high can you go? And she was like, oh! Gag.
She was cracking the glass, she was cracking the ceiling. It's like a bloody opera singer, wasn't it? So next day, we're back in the workroom, and Ahura and Tace are doing a bit of the flirty ditty dirty. What have you got? Any thoughts on that, my dear Bodhi?
They both kind of voted for each other as trade of the season, and they've obviously kai-kai'd before. But this is England. It's a very small country. It was inevitable. Like gay relations, it's such a small pond that we've all fucked each other, basically, by proxy.
So they're still in the workroom and they're getting their mugs on for Rats the Rusical, and Cherry confides in Sister about her travelling backstory. What did you think about that, Bodhi?
I think that's a really important story to tell, because where I grew up in the northeast, Darlington isn't that far. We have a huge traveller and gypsy community. I went to a very working class, awful secondary school, and numerous friends were from the traveller community. And it's not something kind of highlighted in the LGBT world because it's so separate. So I think it's kind of an important story to tell.
Now, Sissy, that wow.
So we're on the main stage now, and Rue walks out in an outfit, and the guest judge for this episode is Sheridan Smith, and I am overjoyed. Oh, who better to judge a musical or musical episode?
So let's get into the nooks and crannies. Who are your standouts?
Oh, I do love a good nook and a cranny. My standouts from the get-go, Veronica. She brought the comedy, she brought the theatre, she sung so incredibly well, and all of those little suckling ratty titties, hilarious.
My standouts would have to be Veronica Green, but on top of Veronica, it would have to be Ginny Lemon and Tia Coffey. I think they were both amazing, and I liked their bit that they did together, and I think it just worked really well. It was good chemistry.
Absolutely. When Tia walked out on stage, knowing that she gave herself the smallest kind of stage presence, she walked out and stole the show. That was theatre. That was fabulous. Tia and Veronica, definitely my top two in the musical. And I don't think anyone did particularly bad. They were all, on a level. But people that I kind of forgot include Estina and I would have to say Sister. Their performances were, for me, extras.
So one memorable moment from that performance, though, had to be when Tia was crawling off stage. Like, it made me bloody hysteric, babes. And I just thought it was funny, and she committed. She crawled off that stage. She didn't stop halfway down. She did the whole bloody runway.
She did not break character for 1 second, including crawling off, like you said. And RuPaul said it herself. One of her favourite things was watching Tia just shimmy off stage. This musical for me was one of the best. Their costumes were the absolute worst. Whoever did those costumes, that is not a rat. I had 2 hours to prepare this look and I look rattier than any of them. Estina Mandela didn't even have bloody ears on. What was that? What rat do you see walking around in a platinum bob? So the runway theme is surprise, surprise, which is of course reveals.
I think my personal tops would be, and not because I want them to top me, Veronica. I really liked the concept. I wouldn't say it was executed to perfection, but the concept itself spoke for itself, and away with the fairies it went. But I'd have to say my favourite would be Ginny Lemon. I'm sorry, it was camp, it was British drag, the way that she revealed the same dress underneath. I thought it was iconic, like Monet Exchange when she revealed the 2 wigs, and that bum. Oh, you've never seen a hairy ass on RuPaul's main stage. Or if you have, I can't remember it. That one's wiped all the rest out.
Iconic already. This is the Ginny Lemon that I want to see on RuPaul's Drag Race. Yes, give me more! Now, my favourite theme, my favourite topic to talk about. Bottom!
Oh, you do love a good bottom, don't you? Me and you alike. I think my bottom, pardon the pun, would have to be, and I hate saying it because I love her, but Tia Coffey. I thought the first look was camp, but at the end of the day, it wasn't amazing. And then I enjoyed the reveal aspect of it, but product 1 and product 2 were shite. And the reveal aspect didn't really make up for the shiteness.
My bottom would have to be Estina Mandela. I'm a huge video game fan. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Melina is my go-to character. This gory, huge, split jaw full of demonic teeth. Estina Mandela had chewing gum with a few toothpicks pushed into it. That was not shocking, surprising, or special effects. The outfit could have been bought at a Halloween store, me love.
So the safe girls are sent back to the workroom to relax with a cocky cocktail. And I have to say, Bimini Bombulash starts talking about how her outfit reveal, her surprise, wasn't that much of a surprise. And I felt really sorry for her because the idea was phenomenal and she looked amazing. It was basic, but it was fashion. But I was just so sad that those balloons with the paint didn't explode or splatter over that canvas corset properly, really.
It was definitely a bit of a wah, wah, wah moment. And then the tops and bottom queens return to the workroom and Lawrence straight away has a clash with Sister. Sister's all like, I've never seen anybody so glum. Oh, I'm attacking you. I
feel very attacked!
I think Sister's point might have been more valid if she was low and in danger of going home. But she was safe. She wasn't going home. She wasn't going anywhere. So it was just kind of a useless conversation that didn't need to come up. And it was just attacking Lawrence, who was in a vulnerable situation. And I have to say, I was really looking forward to Sister. And I still am. But I kind of thought I saw a bit of a nasty side of her there. And I didn't like it. Not one bit.
And judges' placements are announced. which are as follows. So Veronica Green wins the challenge overall, and I have to say, yeah, can't fault it. The only thing for me would be that Tia really stood out in the musical, but her runway let her down. So I think Tia could have been in place for number one if it wasn't for Veronica doing really well in both scenarios. And then we have our bottom two, Tace and Cherry Valentine. I couldn't have guessed that. Are the judges watching the same show as I am?
I completely agree. I thought maybe I'd have taken a bloody acid trip. Maybe I'd slipped into a parallel dimension. Like, it's difficult, but Cherry in particular, I would not have placed her in the bottom two.
My bottom two, just for the simple fact that their runways weren't outstanding and I forgot about them in the musical, Estina and Sister Sister. Especially Estina bigging herself up so much, it's like, where is the star? I'm not seeing it yet. Sister Sister, that kind of shady moment might have gave me a bit of a bias, but again, I didn't really notice her on the runway or in the musical. They didn't do bad whatsoever, but they were the two most forgettable for me. Memories! Or is it called Midnight? I don't know. What's it called?
Memories. It's called bloody Memories.
Lip sync song being Memories by living legend Elaine Page.
So, what did you think about the lip sync, Bodhi?
Going into it, this performance has so much potential. I know Cherry Valentine is an incredible performer. I know that Tace is an incredible performer. This song has such highs and lows that you can really do something with it.
I think it was a soft song, but it's a beautiful song. It's an iconic song, and it holds a very special place in my heart for personal reasons. And it's just such a beautiful song. And like you said, it's not just one note. There is like a journey. And I think, and I hate to say it, because loads of people said it was amazing, but I didn't really get that from either of them.
I'm with you on that one. Both of them just stood there, not really doing anything, not doing the facial emotions, not doing the arm movements or anything. And I found myself literally screaming at the screen, somebody move, like move, otherwise you're both going to go home. And thankfully when that happened, Tace did a little arm thing and walked to the back of the room, which was not spectacular, not gonna lie. But as soon as that happened, I was like, goodbye, Cherry.
I didn't have a problem really with the lack of movement. I just had a problem with the lack of motion they were showing on their face. I think it's such a musical theatre song. For musical theatre, you have to go big or go home. And I have to say, Tace's performance was great and I did enjoy it. And she did serve drama. But I think she was also caring too much about looking sexy still. Like looking beautiful, and I just wish she'd let go a bit more. But I 100% agree. Like, as soon as Tace moved and she did her final flourish at the back of the stage, Cherry wasn't getting picked. The cherries were staying firmly in the bush and being packed off home.
And the lip sync's over, and like we kind of knew, we saw it coming from the lip sync. Tace won it just for walking to the back of the stage. And, you know, that's the deciding factor. It's such a close call, but Tace wins it. Cherry, unfortunately, is sent home. I have to say, such an enjoyable episode. So unpredictable. Could be anyone's game. Don't know what's going to happen. Next week, the girls are going to be doing Fashion Fremini.
What are they going to be doing, Bodhi? Fashion Fremini? Fashion Fremini? A Fashion Bedemedy?
The girls are going to be doing Fashion Fremini.
So like Bodhi just said, it was a wonderful episode and I can't wait to see the rest of the season. Bloody hell, can't it be Thursday already? Now please remember to like, subscribe, share, watch, enjoy and just have a laugh. It's goodbye from me, Bailey Bubbles. Always use a condom.
And it's goodbye from me, Bodhi Ratchet. That's not my name. And it's goodbye from me, Body Snatcher, you bastard.